Hi everybody, my name is Ahmad. I'm a visiting professor and curriculum developer at the Center for Math, Science and Technology Education at the University of Alberta in Canada. I am going to talk about the integration between the ESD and the STEM approach today for you. So I will start my presentation talking about the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which is concerned about the quality education requirements. As you know, this goal actually requires us to ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development in the future and protect human rights, ensure gender equality, promote a culture of peace and nonviolence, and become global citizens and appreciate the cultural diversity and its contribution to sustainable development, as well as increasing the supply of qualified teachers. So these are the requirements that the United Nations has set in the Sustainable Development Goal number 4. However, we have a lot actually of challenges, a wide spectrum of challenges in the 21st century, represented by the need for global demand for a highly skilled workforce in the future, high demand for global citizenship people, high demand for qualified teachers in order to take the lead in changing the future toward environmental education for sustainable development, increasing the reliance on technology. We are solely actually rely on technology and engineering and technology education as well. So we need to focus on this area. There is also a challenge in increasing the girls' involvement in vocational training, technical, engineering, and scientific fields. And there is also a difficulty of integrating ESD in every subject and sustaining ESD initiatives across the world. I'm actually talking about these actually the two challenges are really faced actually in Jordan, where I come from. Because these subjects, the education for sustainable development projects are really funded by external agencies, international agencies. So once the funding is over, the project or the initiative will stop. So this is a really challenge, not only for Jordan, but also for other countries in the world. So in order to face these challenges and meet the requirements of Sustainable Development Goal number 4, so there is a need to address technology and engineering fields and focus actually more in technical education. So technical education is essential field, but what do we mean by technology, engineering, and engineering education? So technology, it means that modifying the natural environment in order to satisfy human needs and wants. So, but this is actually an environmental definition. So we need to make it more environmental, more eco-sounds, as well as in the engineering, as they define engineering as a profession in which a knowledge of the mathematical and natural sciences gained by study, experience, and practice is applied with judgment. So this is a critical word, judgment, to develop ways to utilize economically the materials and forces of nature for the benefit of mankind. But again, this is a non-environmental definition. So we need to adopt actually and modify and align these two definitions of technology and engineering to make the engineering education more environmental and teach it for our students in a different way. So in order to meet that, I see that adopting STEM approach in teaching, STEM as science, technology, engineering, mathematics, is essential, especially because it is an interdisciplinary approach of learning that removes the traditional barriers that we put actually between the different subjects that we are teaching. So this is actually a problem that we have now, and that makes actually our teaching, traditional teaching, non-realistic. It doesn't base actually on real world actually context, non-rigorous and irrelevant to our students. So we need actually to adopt a different way of teaching, an approach of teaching, in order to make it more appealing to our students. So this is why I'm proposing using the STEM as a teaching practice, a teaching model to integrate education for sustainable development for our students. So the STEM actually has a power because it emphasizes ensuring that our students are understanding and responding to individual students' interests, strengths, and needs. So the teachers are understanding their students' needs, strengths, and interest, and the teachers are selecting and adapting curriculum. So there's no way actually to cover the whole curriculum, but we need to focus solely actually on some topics in curriculum that meet our standard and realize the sustainable development goals and the Ministry of Education goals as well. So the teachers also need to focus on the students' understanding and use of scientific knowledge, ideas, and inquiry process, guiding students in active and extended scientific inquiry, providing opportunities for scientific discussion and debate among students, continuously assisting students, understanding and sharing responsibilities. So this is the emphasis that is required by a STEM approach, and this emphasis actually aligns and meets the challenges of the 21st century and the requirements of Sustainable Development Goal number 4. So there are several actually ways and perspectives to teach STEM. In the left, actually, these 4 major fields appear separated, and they are actually being taught in our schools now, but they are addressed actually in a separated way. We demand to integrate and remove all the barriers between the subject, especially because all the technological advancement, and engineers actually work mainly actually on the barrier actually between the 2 different or 3 different subjects together to produce a new technology for humanity. So we need actually to, in order to make a STEM systematic and sustainable organization, we need to make that capacity of people in order for our teachers in order to adopt STEM and teach for sustainable development. We need a strong leadership, clear, compelling vision, coherent policies, procedures, and cultural norms that focus on improving students' learning. We need also highly qualified STEM teachers. We need highly qualified STEM education supervisors and rich and innovative web of all resources, libraries, museums, media, publication, and internet. And all of this need to be actually monitored and evaluated continuously in order to ensure that we are going toward the goal that we are setting for ourselves. So the closing thought that I'm going to talk about is instead we need to cultivate multiple capacities for future generations instead of using test scores as our only metric of learning. So I know nations now and countries are competing with each other for the PISA and international testing in order to compare their education system and their student achievement with others. But this should not be a focus. We need to build the capacities of our students instead of focus on these achievements only. Gardner actually helped us identify the 5 kinds of minds to be able to be successful as a nation, and those are: we need students to be a disciplined mind, have a disciplined mind that can think well and appropriately in the major disciplines, a synthesizing mind that can sift actually through a large amount of information and decide on what is important and put together in ways that make sense of oneself, a creative mind, a respectful mind, especially for the environment, an ethical mind in order to treat the environment and be environmental and disseminate this knowledge, the environmental knowledge and behaviors and ethics to others as well that surround them. The future scenarios that we need to go through is set up standards in order to integrate between education for sustainable development and STEM. So we need to set standards to develop the content for what every student should know and be able to do in sustainable development in your country. And we need to prepare teachers to teach sustainable development in your country through STEM approach. So these are the requirements that we need to address now in order to realize the perspective that we're to integrate education for sustainable development in the 4 major disciplines of STEM. We also need to utilize STEM education in delivering the content for a sustainable development curriculum. I hope I am addressing actually my point correctly to you. Please, if you have any questions and inquiries, contact me using this email, kaplan@ualberta.edu. Thank you so much.